In this session, we will check about object store in Mule 4. So, for a use case, say if we want to connect to a database and get the data from database. So, what we usually do is we will use a database connector. We will connect to the database and we will give the response back to the requester, right? So there is a use case where we know that the data from the database is not going to change. So in that case, in order to reduce the response time, what we can do, we can use object store. So what we are going to do now is the data which is present in the database, we will be storing it in an object store. Thereby, we are going to reduce the response time. So we don't have to call the database, get the data and give the response. If the data is already present in the object store, we will give the response back from the object store. So let me, uh, so this is the database which we are going to use. So the database is shipment underscore details and we have few records within that. So I have created a new flow for this. So what this is going to do is it will receive the request in the path caching. So and there is a logger component which says start, and there is a select database component which will connect to the database, and based on the ID from the query parent, we will be getting that particular record from the database, and that is transformed to a JSON and the response will be given back. Towards the end, I have given a logger which says end. Okay, let me put this inside a cache scope. Okay, then we have to configure this cache block. So I can use a reference to a strategy, then click on this plus symbol. So we will have to give the key expression. So this will be used to store the data using that particular key. So I can give the key as the ID. It will be attributes dot query parent dot ID. Okay, and object store, I can give the properties if I want. I can give the alias of OS underscore 1. Maximum entries will be the maximum number of entries which could be stored in this particular object store. Entry TTL. TTL stands for time to live. That is the time a particular entry will be stored in this particular object store. So I can give it as 1 hour. Expiration interval could be considered as a job which runs and check if there are entries which has expired the TTL. So I can give it as 30 minutes. So this value should be basically lower than the TTL so that this entries will be removed within that particular time interval. Okay, so that's it. Okay, let me add logger component which will say inside cache block. Save this and we will run this. Okay, so this mule flow got deployed successfully. Let me trigger this now. Okay. So this is the request we are going to send, and we have this ID as query parent, and we have given one of the record ID as the value here. So let me send this. So you can see the response came back in 101 milliseconds. Let me count again. So it came down to 36 milliseconds. So let me check the console. So here I can see there is a start Then we have inside cache block and we have end. The second time there is only start and end. Let me call it using a different ID. You can use this one. Here it is 105 milliseconds and now it is 46 milliseconds. So here as well we can see there's a start, then we have inside cache block, then we have end. The second time we have only start and end. So basically what it means that the first time it is going inside the cache block because the ID which we have mentioned is not stored in the object store. Okay, so it is getting the data and transforming the message and giving the response. Second time when we are calling using the same ID, it is not going inside this particular cache block because the data from the database is already stored in the object store. So it will come here, that is start, then it will be transformed to a JSON and it will go to this end and we will get the response. Thanks for watching the video. If you like the content, please subscribe to the channel. Please let me know any suggestion about the session in the comments. And if you would like me to include any topic in Mule 4, please let me know in comments. Thank you.